Welcome into the Sports Buffoons podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of the world, welcome on in back again to the Sports Buffoons podcast. Finally, after a little over a month off, as a matter of fact, we got the trio back again. If you're watching,
has it only been a month?
It's been over a month, as a matter of fact. Tanner finally moved out of his mom's house, so round of applause for Tanner.
I'm in my uncle's basement now.
But yeah, we got JG to my left as usual on the screen, and Tanner to my right. So what's going on, fellas?
What's up, bro? I find it hard to believe that we've only been off for a month because I've been on a bender for a minimum of 2 months. So I don't know what the heck you guys were doing, but I've been on a bender for a whole lot longer than 1 month.
Helping Tanner move took 2 weeks, so we were busy with that to begin with.
Yeah, so. 2 weeks.
Yeah, that was quite an adventure.
Vegas. On top of Vegas.
It was weird though. I can't say welcome to the Sports Buffoon Studios because right now only Tanner is at the new studio, which we have not even seen yet. So I think we're going to be doing it remotely like this for a little while. But I could say maybe if we ever get a chance on a Saturday, we have a surprise pop-up show somewhere down the road.
Mm-hmm. Still working on the studio, guys. So
all right,
we're almost there.
Very nice, very nice. So, man, it has been a little while. So before we jump into some NBA topics, we have a gambling topic that's very, very important. As a matter of fact, going on right now. What you guys? What's new? What do you want to talk about? What's the shout out that we've missed over the last month?
Last month NBA draft, the back-to-back Stanley Cup Finals winner of Florida Panthers. Everybody getting hurt in the NBA playoffs.
You didn't want to say OKC?
And you got don't forget the best team in the world right here. Best team
Florida
in the world
Panthers?
Right there. Yeah. Oklahoma City Thunder, dude, are the best team in the world.
Florida Panthers won back.
And I know how much you hate them, Tanner, so I'm not gonna
I don't hate them.
Tanner wanted the Pacers to win that finals.
No, I had the Pacers winning the games at the time, covering the spreads.
Okay. All right.
That was very unfortunate. I was very sad when he went down, when Tyrese Halliburton went down, and that was the last thing I wanted to see. I wanted to see a team win this thing fair and square, and obviously I'm happy because I like the Oklahoma City Thunder. And they won the championship, but I was very disappointed to see Tyrese Halliburton go down.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That was a sad deal. That was very unfortunate.
Especially in a Game 7. You knew at that point the game was done for. I mean, it was no longer enjoyable to watch, even as a fan of just the NBA in general. I mean, you kind of just knew, well, this is the way it ends, I guess. And instead of a fun Game 7, ended up being kind of a boring Game 7.
Yeah, I mean, you always want to see the best players play, and
boring.
The sport doesn't matter.
Quarter.
Yeah, the sport doesn't matter, but you want to see the best players play, and that was what disappointed me the most because Halliburton was on one, and he was on fire, and they were winning that game until he went down. And Halliburton's a superstar. I don't care what anybody says. So
yeah.
But, Oklahoma City, they won it, so they deserve it. I don't think they're going to go back-to-back, but we can talk about that later.
Yeah, for sure. Well, guys, I mean, I guess jumping right in, right now the hot topic is the NBA free agency and where guys are landing. And some rosters are starting to fill out a little bit. I know earlier we were talking off the show, Jason, and you're looking forward to what Denver has brought to the table, which is going to be pretty exciting to see, now that they finally – added some different pieces, possibly going to get over the hump again, back to the championship based on that. But, we've heard a lot of news around the league now. And what do you guys think so far about NBA free agency and how teams are looking at the moment?
I mean, the biggest add was obviously Kevin Durant to Houston. And Houston has done a lot of things here. they're kind of flying under the radar. But the biggest thing about the Houston Rockets is that they were the 2 seed last year in the Western Conference, and they've brought in some help. Obviously, they've got Kevin Durant now to add to their star lineup of they got Fred VanVleet at the point guard position, and they've got a lot of younger players who can play defense. And so Houston is actually loading up right now. I think they're probably the biggest threat to all teams in the NBA, not just in the Western Conference. But when you add Kevin Durant, that's going to be a problem for the rest of the Western Conference. And they have so many studs on that team. They have a lot of bigs in that front court. And so Durant is actually not going to have to play a lot of defense. I think that was the thing about if you were a Kevin Durant fan, you were worried about certain teams, kind of like in the Golden State situation where he had to actually be the rim protector. Well, like the Houston Rockets have way too many rim protectors right now. So the only thing Kevin Durant is going to be asked to do right now is score. And it's going to be fun to watch. I think a lot of guys right now are saying that the Thunder should be the favorite. I actually disagree with that because I think with all of the players that the Thunder have brought in or retained, the Houston Rockets, I think the Rockets should be the favorite right now in the West. And you guys feel free to disagree with me, but I just think that roster right now is better than the Thunder.
Yeah, we'll just say real quick, just as a Suns fan getting to experience Kevin Durant over the last couple of years, the Suns didn't have a complete enough team to have a guy like that on the team really mean much because, he is just a scoring guy. He wasn't a great defender by any means on this roster when he was with the Suns. That's not what he's interested in doing anymore, I don't think. I think he's into jacking up threes and putting points on the board. So maybe he's going to fit the mold better there for the Rockets. I hope he does because as a lifelong KD fan, seeing him come to the Suns and have what I thought was a pretty average at best experience, I want to see his career continue to have another couple of years left of good quality play. So that's all. So Tanner, what do you think about all this?
Hey, you know what? I'm down for Houston. Houston made massive moves. You talked about Kevin Durant. You didn't talk about the other 2 signings that they made with Dorian Finney-Smith and also Clint Capella.
The bigs. We got some bigs.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, like if we look at this roster here, just a core rotation. I mean, look at it. Durant, VanVleet, Sengun, Jabari Smith, Amon Thompson, Dorian Finney-Smith, Clint Capella, Steven Adams, and it goes on and on. That's just not even counting the first rounder.
They still
Jeff
got
Green.
Green from the Denver Nuggets championship team.
Yeah, Jeff Green, Aaron Holiday, Deshaun Tate, David Roddy, Eason, Reed Shepard, Cam Whitmore. They have so many guys on this roster.
You didn't even mention Sengun.
I said Sengun.
Good.
Yeah, I love Sengun. And like this team, it's deep, right? It's not. They didn't just add a superstar and another superstar and another superstar and then quit and just get a bunch of bums. They got talent on this roster. They invested in this team here, and you have, which, that scandal up in Boston kind of screwed it all over. But essentially, you have the best coach in the league.
Oh, absolutely.
By far. You have the best coach in the league with this roster here. And it's so early in the free agency. You still got moves you can make around with this roster. Yeah. Call me bot for this one here. It's definitely not the Thunder. It is the Houston Rockets is your favorites here. And they've made the best moves here, locking in Dorian Finney-Smith for 3 years, Clint Capella for 2, and then your Kevin Durant, right? Like on top of all the young guys and the drafting they did, I'm called. I like this a lot.
And I think my favorite thing here is that Kevin Durant's he's not gonna be asked to do anything defensively. And that's a great situation.
He doesn't need to.
Because he's, I don't want to call him old, but he's a little bit older, and nobody should be asking him at this stage of his career to play any amount of defense. We want him to be the closer. If I'm a Houston Rockets fan, just be the closer and let all these other guys, Amin Thompson, let those guys play defense. And all we need you for, if you're Kevin Durant, is just to close it out, man, at the end of the games.
Yeah. Yeah. I love the Houston Rockets there. There's definitely some more moves out there, Jason, that did happen. Since, even during the draft, came to play that it all started here. But obviously free agency being the big one. I do want to mention the whole Bucks situation with Miles Turner joining Giannis. Like that's gonna be a dominant right there. You're not going down low. It's Block City, and you got a guy who can consistently hit the 3-point range, a big like that with Miles Turner. So I like that move for Milwaukee a lot.
Well, let's talk about the Bucks here because they waived Damian Lillard. They called it a waive and stretch, where they're actually going to pay Damian Lillard $23 million on average for the next 5 years, but it's only to sign Miles Turner. But they already had Brook Lopez, and are those two guys? Correct me if I'm wrong, Tanner. Are those two guys not the exact same player? So why would you not sign Brook Lopez to sign Miles Turner, the exact same guy? You have 0 point guards on this team. And my contention is that they're going to make another move because they have to. They have to make another move. You're not going to waive Dame Lillard and sign Miles Turner unless you have a trade in mind. And there's no really good point guard free agents on the market right now. In fact, there's none, unless you're a firm believer that CP3 has something left in the tank, which we'll talk about that later. There's no free agent point guards on the market. So the Bucks have to make a trade for a point guard. Otherwise, this whole thing with them is a waste of time, because why would you want to keep Giannis Antetokounmpo on your roster? And why would you want to sign him to a new deal if nothing's going to happen? Because you're not going to win a championship. There's no part of this roster is going to make me think that they're going to win a championship. It's a absolute trash roster. And what are they going to do, Tanner? Do you think they're going to bring in a point guard? Because I think they got to make a trade here.
They have to make some moves, man. I'm telling you. By the way, you saying that Miles Turner and Brook Lopez are the same exact player, that's ridiculous. First off.
Do you understand?
That's straight stupidity over comparison.
Do you think that Miles Turner's been in the league for 5 years, or do you think he got drafted in 2015 or 2014? Because he's like, this is not his first rodeo, dude. He's not a young player.
No, he's not. But he's not Brook Lopez. He's better than Brook Lopez.
They're the same player.
No, they are not.
They're a center. It's a center that can shoot threes. You can play.
Don't just. Okay. I mean, we can make other comparisons that way too.
I'll give you that. You look it up, dude. The only difference is that Brook Lopez is like 3 years older. They're the exact same player. It's a center that shoots threes. They can protect the rim. They cannot guard the perimeter very much. And I don't understand the difference. Like this is the first, I'm not, this is not, I don't listen to ESPN, in case you guys, I'm just throwing that out there. This is my take. Those guys are the same player, except there's a little bit different. We're going to get to skin tone a little bit later on this show. Their skin tone is different. I get that. But they're the exact same player. Miles Turner is the exact same player as Brook Lopez. Shoot threes, guard the rim. You tell me what else Miles Turner brings to the table. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Not having as old of a guy. You're talking about a 14-year to a 9-year guy.
He's not young.
Even if he does the same thing, that's still Miles Turner young.
Got drafted in 2014. You want to look it up?
2015.
Right, same thing. 2015.
He's 28, dude.
10 years.
He's 28.
Whatever. I think the point for me is what is that? Okay, we can agree to disagree on that. But what is Miles Turner going to do to win them a championship?
Play defense.
With no point guard. They have no point guard.
He needs to play defense and shoot threes. That's what Miles Turner does. There's a reason why the Pacers got where they were.
All right, Tanner, let me ask you this. So if you could make a trade, who would you want to trade for? Because I'm just going to throw this out there. I think the perfect move for the Bucks would be to make a trade for Derek White of the Celtics. And the reason why I say that is because Derek White is a great point guard that hits his threes. There's no reason for him to even be on the Celtics right now because Jason Tatum has a torn Achilles. The Celtics are not going to win anything this year. This is just like a forget it year for the Celtics. So if you're the Celtics, you should want to trade Derek White. And if you're the Bucks, you should want to trade for Derek White because you don't have any point guards on the whole freaking roster.
I mean, I like the Derek White move. It would make sense. I could see the Bucks going out and actually spending some money on get like a Jaylen Brown from the Celtics as well. Or I don't know, dude. I don't know. Celtics are selling. It's a new ownership starting this year.
Yeah,
that's why Porzingis is gone and all these other guys. So Brown could be on the chopping block. We'll see. We'll see. But also a guy that somebody
finals MVP. Like, was Jaylen Brown like the finals MVP a couple of years ago?
Yeah.
You're gonna dump. You want to do a pump and dump of Jaylen Brown?
It's a new ownership. They don't want to pay the luxury tax, dude. It's an ownership. They don't want to pay. That's why they cut all these guys.
Well, do they want to win games or do they want to fiddle fuck around?
They want to fiddle fuck around. It's a new ownership.
Now we need to put that to bed right now. Like,
by the way,
Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are untouchables.
I don't know.
Unless you're a dumb.
I don't think so.
Unless you're a stupid person running that team.
I
find that hard to believe.
Oh wait, isn't it the Saudis that have the part of the ownership now? Like they're the ones making the moves or have the
So you think? Are you trying to tell me that the Saudis are stupid people? What are you, a racist?
No, I'm just telling you who has
been watching too much of that CSNBC news.
You don't like You don't like the Live Golf Tour because it's owned by the Saudis? What the heck is wrong with you, man?
I don't watch golf.
Okay.
Look, DeJounte Murray would be the other one.
What?
Murray.
DeJounte Murray. Okay.
They can make a move. Hawks are selling, man.
But okay, so you're saying that the Pelicans do not want to have a dynamic backcourt of Jordan Poole and DeJounte Murray? Because I thought that was a great idea for them.
I liked it, but the way Pellies work, I don't think so. I mean, there's still a lot of moves out there. There's a lot of moves they can make still, but I don't know. It's really tough to say how much are they willing to spend because it is Milwaukee. It is considered a small market team, and I mean, you already got Miles Turner and Giannis locked up, and you have to pay Dame still for the next 4 years or 3 years.
I don't think the Bucks have the assets to go after a guy like DeJounte Murray. But I do think they have enough assets to go after Derek White because I think the Celtics would be more willing to move Derek White than the Pelicans would be to move DeJounte Murray. Or it could be the same thing, man. Like it could be the same thing. I mean, the Pelicans aren't going to win anything this year.
What about a Brogdon going over?
He's washed, dude. He's washed.
I know he is. He's bad.
So speaking of washed, I need to know what the future of LeBron looks like here from one of you guys.
Did we not talk about him yet?
Well, if you guys have something to say about him.
Wait, Mike, didn't he say ESPN earlier? I thought we already talked about him.
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, that's true. He was on ESPN.
We'll get it figured out right now. So let's talk about the Lakers. So they just added in the last few hours DeAndre Ayton, who is not going to shoot threes. He will protect the rim. He'll play a little bit of a lackadaisical defense. So the Lakers finally got their center. I was thinking before that deal happened that the Lakers were going to trade LeBron because the Lakers just don't have the front court. I mean, you can't win in today's NBA with LeBron James and Luka Doncic. I mean, you got to get lucky. If those are the only two guys that you're going to run out there. I know they got Austin Reeves. They're going to be competitive, guys, okay? They're going to be competitive. I'm not going to sit here and try to argue with people and say that they're not going to be a top 3 team in the West, but DeAndre Ayton is not enough for me. It really isn't, because if you're going to win an NBA championship in today's NBA, I think your 5 has to be able to shoot threes, and DeAndre Ayton can't do jack for 3-pointers. So I don't know what you think about this move, Tanner. Obviously, they needed a big, but DeAndre Ayton just seems like it's just not enough for me. And I feel like at this point with the Lakers, that new ownership team that just bought the team, I feel like they gave up. And I think there's a chance they might actually trade LeBron James and just to see what they can get, because this is going to be Luka Doncic's team moving forward. And so nobody has to answer to LeBron James anymore. This is a new ownership group. You know, you bring in DeAndre Ayton, who is, you know, I don't want to call him a trash player. Mike, I would let Mike try to expand on what he thinks DeAndre Ayton is, but he's not a championship player. And so before they got a center, my dream scenario was that the Spurs could make a trade for LeBron James, because he needs to get out. He needs to get out of there, man. There's nobody's gonna win a ring on this Lakers roster. And there's just not enough talent there. So, Mike, what do you think about DeAndre Ayton?
Yeah, for me, I mean, Ayton has just kind of always been an underachiever at this point in his career, and he's the old, looks like Tarzan, plays like Jane kind of a mold, and he's been that way his whole career. I mean, I saw him as a Suns fan and always thought maybe he'd develop a little bit as he got older. I haven't really seen much of that. My problem with him, at least from his time as a Sun, which has been a couple of years now. I mean, the guy couldn't hit threes, wouldn't even attempt to. He was also very, very weak in the paint. He would have a decent game every once in a while, but he was not your 7-foot defender that you would love to have on your roster, that a lot of teams strive to have out there protecting the rim. And just inconsistent. I mean, just really, really soft. And if you're the Lakers and you see Ayton as being a guy that gets a lot of minutes for your roster, you're going to be very disappointed because what he provides inside is not quality stuff whatsoever. And maybe I'm wrong over the last year. I haven't watched a lot of DeAndre Ayton, but just from my experience as a fan getting to experience him on my team, it's not a fun time, and it's a very frustrating time to watch him. So maybe it can work out better for the Lakers, but I kind of think it's a mentality thing for DeAndre Ayton, and I don't think he has it mentally to be the player we all wish he could be.
Yeah, I think the Lakers gave up, man. That's what this move says to me. I think they gave up. And I understand if you have a big 3 of Austin Reeves, Luka Doncic, and LeBron James, everybody's going to think they have a chance. But, you know, the league is getting younger. And, you know, the Thunder are not going anywhere, man. I don't see a world in where Austin Reeves, LeBron James, and Luka Doncic can win a championship. I just don't see how that's possible right now. And I think the Lakers need to trade LeBron James. And the word is around the league that might actually happen. But I think the signing of DeAndre Ayton is an absolute disaster. And you guys can put me on record for that right now. I understand he was a number 1 overall pick, but the dude is not a championship player. And I'm kind of shocked by the move. I would have gone with an Al Horford for sure. And I think Al Horford is actually still available out there. And maybe the Lakers.
Al Horford's a better player than DeAndre Ayton is.
Well, he's still available, I think. And if the Lakers could still bring him in, then I would change my mind on the whole situation for the Lakers. But if you're just going to go with DeAndre Ayton and Jared Vanderbilt right now, which is the backup, then nothing's going to happen. Like LeBron's not going to get a ring. And so I would not be shocked. And we've got a lot of time left on free agency, but I would not be shocked to see if LeBron James actually gets traded eventually, because this is they're not going to win, man. They're not going to win. And one of the reasons why they're not going to win is because of the moves that the Denver Nuggets have made recently. So, Tanner, what do you think about the moves that you've seen from the Denver Nuggets? Because they've been adding some pieces here.
First off, you don't trade LeBron James, especially if you're new ownership. How else are you going to sell tickets? You don't. Second off, you get rid of Michael Porter Jr. Finally. And guess what? You go out and you get Bruce Brown back on your team. You get that defensive monster back on your team there. I love those two moves alone. Like, if I'm just looking at the Nuggets right now, I love those two moves. That's exactly what they needed to make.
Hey.
Well, the thing of it is, man, like, if you're the new owners of the Lakers, like, you can do whatever you want. Like,
you can.
It doesn't matter.
Wait, Luka ain't gonna put asses in those seats.
So they own the Dodgers, right? So
yeah.
Same ownership group. They own the Dodgers.
So why would
the
that same ownership trade LeBron James
franchise? So you don't have anything to prove. Like, if you're the same ownership team that owns the Dodgers, you don't have anything to prove right now.
They got to pay
get rid of LeBron.
Pay off all those deferred contracts for the Dodgers in 10 years. So they can't afford to lose a LeBron James.
The Lakers right now are Luka's team. They're not.
You can say it all you want, but that doesn't mean trading LeBron's the right move for that at all. And it's not going to happen.
Nobody cares about a 40-year-old LeBron James if you're not going to put a team around him. You got to put a championship team around him. And the problem is,
you don't make a move like Luka and trade LeBron the next year. That doesn't make sense. DeAndre Ayton,
a lot of sense.
Doesn't really move the needle. Okay,
Luka Doncic is the future.
Yeah. Hey, Luka, we leave you with you and Ayton. You're the new LeBron and AD, and we're gonna trade this LeBron guy and go from there. And then wonder
when you get a guy like Ayton to be your center, you might as well rebuild at that point instead of wasting a 40-year-old's time.
It's better than Vanderbilt than what they got.
That's what I'm saying. I think the Lakers,
it's better than what they had.
The Lakers gave up, dude. When you see a guy like
DeAndre Ayton, it doesn't matter.
Gave up.
For LeBron's side, that sucks. But from an ownership side, you still got LeBron and Luka. Isn't that why you're going to see the games?
That's why I think LeBron is getting traded, because that new ownership.
LeBron's not getting traded at all.
Are they going to win, man?
Unless he demands it himself. It don't matter. They're not there. If you just said LeBron's getting traded because they're set up to lose, well, why would you trade LeBron then when you can just put asses in those seats?
Dude, LeBron has a no trade clause, which means he can decide exactly where he wants to go and when.
And he's not going anywhere.
He can do it right now.
He's not going anywhere.
Oh, you think because DeAndre Ayton moves the needle? Does he move the needle for you?
No, I just said that. DeAndre Ayton does not move the needle.
All right.
Luka move last year moved the needle.
All right, let's move on to Denver. So Denver has added some pieces here. We got Bruce Brown, which is a very important player that was a part of the championship team. And Tanner's laughing at me because he still wants to talk about LeBron James. But Bruce Brown is back. We got Cam Johnson to replace Michael Porter Jr., which
that's a good one.
For whatever reason, I don't understand why this is a big controversy around the NBA. Like, a lot of GMs around the league are saying that they're saying that Cam Johnson is actually worse than Michael Porter Jr. I don't know. I think they're smoking something, because for me personally, he's a cheaper player. Like, you have less money on the books with Cam Johnson, and he actually plays a little bit better defense. I think they're kind of the same player, but Cam Johnson is cheaper. And then also Denver brought in Jonas Valanciunas to be a backup center. So I think my favorite thing about this move.
Oh, I love Valanciunas. I
My
love that
favorite
move.
thing, my favorite thing about this move with Jonas Valanciunas is that he's a double-double guy. And one of the big problems that Denver had these last couple of years is that anytime the Joker would go out of the game, they would bleed. Denver would start bleeding points all over the place. And that's not going to happen with Jonas Valanciunas because he is a double-double guy. So you can actually take the Joker out of the game, and you're not going to start bleeding points like they have been because you have a legitimate backup center who's going to get rebounds, even if he doesn't score that much. He's going to protect the rim. He's going to give the Joker a blow so you can actually take the Joker out of the game. And so Denver has made some really good moves, in my opinion. I think, we have a lot of threats right now in the West. We're not going to talk about Dallas in this show, but a lot of people think that Dallas made some good moves and they're a threat. I think Denver's a threat. And, the Lakers are going to be good. Houston's going to be good. I think it's going to be a wide open Western Conference. And I understand that right now, the Thunder are going to be the favorites, but I don't see it, man. I don't see the Thunder as being that much better in terms of the rest of the league. So what do you think, Tanner and Mike? What do you guys think about the moves that Denver has made?
I love it. I love exactly what they did. They went out and got a better guard that can play the outside. He can open up space with Cam. And, you lose that rebound ability without Michael Porter Jr. Obviously, Michael Porter Jr. has some size, but Cam Johnson, 18.8 points per game last year. This is a guy also that can make playmaking abilities, which they were missing. They couldn't get nothing started there with Michael Porter Jr. And then you bring in Valanciunas, which we know is a guy that's going all out every single play. And obviously, we've seen him with other teams. Like that's probably one of my favorite moves with Valanciunas more than anything. So now I think Denver basically reloaded, got rid of some weakness, enhanced it, got Bruce Brown back, and said, "Yeah, we got the best player in the league on our team. Let's go after it." So I like what Denver did.
Yeah, I gotta ask Mike about this because our resident Suns fan is actually also our resident Missouri Tigers fan. So, Mike, what do you think about Cam Johnson replacing Michael Porter Jr.?
No, it's a good trade-off. And honestly, I was not a anti-Michael Porter Jr. guy by any means. I mean, the guy can jack up threes with some of the best of them, so I give him credit for that. But Cam Johnson is still a developing prospect. I mean, he's still not fully come into his own, in my opinion. I think there's still some things out of him that we'll see unfold as he gets a little bit older even. So I think adding him to the mix is great. And really what Denver did was basically said, okay, these last 2 years, we've taken a small step back from what we were 3 years ago. So let's go ahead and just push this all in and then see if we can get right back to the top again, because we know, having the talent you have around with that team right now, I mean, they're going to be in the finals contention again. And next time they come up and they have to play OKC again, potentially next year, then they have enough talent now and depth to get the job done in that scenario. So, I mean, Jokic is only going to be around for so long, and he's only going to be this good for so long playing the way he plays. So you might as well try to capitalize and try to win back-to-back, and I think they have the talent now to make that happen.
Yeah, and a lot of people would still say that Nikola Jokic is still the best player in the NBA, best player in the world right now. And so I think Denver needs to be a part of that conversation. I think the Mavericks need to be a part of that conversation. Maybe not so much the Lakers, but this is not going to be an easy run for Oklahoma City. to defend their title. And so it should be very interesting in the West. Obviously, we talked about Houston a little bit earlier, but do you guys want to switch over to politics? Because I know we don't talk a lot of politics on this show, but we can go there if you want.
Yeah, I was gonna say
I'm gonna get me another drink while you guys explain it to everybody.
Get you a drink, Tanner. I was gonna say we can have a more compelling topic if you'd like, something with a little more juice to it. But yeah, I mean, we do have a big, beautiful topic to go over. I'd say right now, something that is gonna hit pretty close to home for I think all of us here in the sports gambling community and just gambling itself in a lot of ways. But we're awaiting to hear some more information on which way this bill is going to go. But it looks like there could be a new tax implications put into place on not just sports betting, but all betting, even as recreational, not just professional, but recreational as well. Where we're now looking at a situation where if this goes into effect, you are then taxed even if you don't win any money at all at the end of the year. You know, if you, let's say it was like a $10,000 won and $10,000 lost, you're going to be taxed on that, basically phantom earnings along the way. And I would love to get more details on this, of course, as time goes, but it's definitely something scary to think about, and the way it could just have this awful effect on sports gambling to begin with, and what that means for the future of, in my opinion, I think it's catastrophic for a place like Las Vegas. I think it's catastrophic for casinos in general if something like this does go into effect, and we should be finding out pretty soon. But I know, Jason, you have your thoughts on this whole thing, so I'm curious where you stand on what could happen with this going forward.
So as of right now, the House of Representatives there's a lot of infighting right now. And so they're going back and forth. Obviously, the United States Senate passed their own version of this bill. It's going through the House right now. Apparently, there's a lot of infighting on the tax bill. So there's a scenario that could play out where the House could actually make changes to this bill and send it back to the Senate. But we're just talking about gambling right now. So basically, the way that this would work out in basically the Senate, I think it was actually the House proposal, was that any gambling that happened, you would have to make $111 to offset $110 of losses. Or no, I'm sorry, no, it was $100 of losses. So if you lose $100 and you make $111, you're even. But over time, basically ever since the beginning of this country, you could always deduct 100% of your gambling losses against your wins. And so basically, just to simplify this for you guys, the government now is trying to tax you even if you don't have a profit. So if you have a slight loss, they're trying to tax you on that loss, which, I wish I could call that unconstitutional. It probably should be unconstitutional. I don't know who introduced this in the House. I think it came from the House of Representatives. But I think it's a complete disaster. It's one of these scenarios where something that's happened, basically throughout the course of our entire lives, the Senate or the House will try to pass a bill, and it looks beautiful, for lack of a better word, on the outside, but then they'll try to slide something in. So the bill's going to look really, really good, but then they're going to take these tiny little, I would like to call them shit points, where you try to slide in something that nobody notices. And that's what's happening right now with gambling. And so with, if you're a professional gambler, if you're a professional poker player in particular, that is who is going to get hit the hardest, because not only are you going to have to report everything, you're going to have to pay taxes on your losses, which is ridiculous. I know you guys, all of the Buffoons at this point, are very passionate about this. And I promise you, even though that this is obviously, we like to talk about Trump, he's behind this bill, man. Like, and the buck stops with him. And I will blame him if that section of the bill gets passed. It's going to be his fault. I don't think that he's the one that personally came out with this. But if you're going to start punishing professional gamblers and even average gamblers who are making a profit, this is a complete disaster. I find it appalling, especially coming from a guy like Trump, who earned his living earlier in his career by building casinos. You know, Trump made a lot of his income throughout the course of his life off of casinos. He built casinos, made money off of them. And now all of a sudden, those people that paid him, you know, the people that he made money off of back in the day, he's going to start punishing them. That is very disturbing to me. And I feel like Trump needs to be a little bit sensitive to that. Obviously, me as a table player, that doesn't affect me as much. You know, if you're playing blackjack or baccarat or a lot of these other table games, you're not going to be affected. But professional poker players, for them, that's going to be a disaster. If you play slots, you're going to get started. You're going to start to get taxed on your losses. Any of these electronic games, if you're a sports bettor, it's a complete disaster. I know that there are professional sports bettors all over the place that's how they make their living. And I've seen documentaries on these people, you know, professional sports bettors. That's how they make their living. I've known, I've known a stay-at-home mom who is a professional sports bettor. And if we're going to start punishing these people, that's how they make their living. It's a complete disaster. And I find it appalling that Trump would be behind something like this. Like, you know, it's very easy to say that Trump makes mistakes. Okay. But this is a huge mistake if Trump is going to be the guy backing this bill in terms of gambling.
Yeah. I mean,
I do want to clear.
Go ahead.
I do want to clear something up here. It was the Senate that introduced this section, and then it was a tie 50-50 on July 1st, and July 1st, same day, here comes Vice President J.D. Vance with this Triple H entrance and essentially breaking the tie and passing this part of the bill. So now it's at the House. But yes, the Senate was the ones to introduce this into the bill, pass it, and the Las Vegas senator is the one fighting right now, trying to get this out of the way.
Like Jason said, they kind of snuck this in all of a sudden once it passed originally there. So that's something new that they have introduced that I think they're trying to see if people will pick up on or notice. But to me,
we noticed.
it's just it's going to cause a devastating trickle down effect, you know, if something like this goes through, in my opinion. And you're going to see, I mean, like I said, Vegas would be hugely impacted based on this. And I think your average person, even sports bettor, you know, you're not going to want to be wasting your time anymore, because, I mean, let's face it, for the large portion of our country in the world, gambling is a losing proposition. There's very few amount of people out there that can actually gamble on a regular basis and come out with a profit at the end of the day. And so if you're already looking at gambling knowing, well, your odds are you're probably going to end up losing, you know, 55% to 60% of the time, you're going to lose that amount of the time. Well, let's just go ahead and tax on 10% on top of that, you know, and if that's the way it unfolds, people are going to look at gambling and just be like, what's the point? You know, you're not going to be getting on DraftKings anymore. All this stuff that we just got legalized in Kansas and Missouri is going to be irrelevant, because people are just not going to want to waste their time. They'd rather just, you know, any of that extra financial money they got to use, they can put into stocks or whatever it may be. You might as well not waste your time with sports betting or honestly casinos in general. I think it would just destroy the entire industry, in my opinion.
You would have less whales. Whale movement wouldn't be there. Like you wouldn't have the guys coming in. Your horse racings, your everything that kind of keeps casino floating in some way during whatever the
and even
up and down of everything. Like it's insane.
The professionals, even like sports betting, for instance, are winning, but a 3 to 5% clip, right? If they're in the profit, I mean, we're talking about professional sports bettors, and so at that point, I mean, now we're just eating in even further, to what your profit's going to be, and just it's going to making it a total waste of time for everybody, unless you can somehow find a way to win 65% of the time. Then don't even play. What's the point?
I mean, and you even mentioned it on our text thread today. Offshore, we're seeing another big uptick coming into play, and we all know how hard that is to kind of get money back. You've said the example before.
Well, they pay you in Bitcoin if you do win, which at that point, that's even more reason to probably end up having to own Bitcoin, is because if you're into sports betting and you want to do that, well, Bovada is now going to be your main option to be able to bet, offshore. No one in America in their right mind is going to be betting on DraftKings and FanDuel. It's stupid.
And the promotions won't be there either. Your free bets, stuff like that could go away long term as well. Like there's a whole bunch of stuff long term that we got today on all sorts of different avenues that could disappear because the play's leaving because of this. I mean, who would have thought, Mike? Who would have thought? There was, I think it was last month, I sent you the message from Captain Jack, or a tweet from Captain Jack, and it was about Illinois and them making a tax on the sports book. So when you bet, so you got taxed or something like that, right? I believe it was that if you bet like $10, you basically paid it. It was an ante.
It's like an ante.
In the end. And so like, who would have thought that to now where we're at, like from this 90%, like who would have thought that would have been
this situation particularly is just illogical unless their intention is to destroy the gambling culture in America. If that was their intention, then I understand. But someone came up with this idea as some kind of a positive thing for the government, and I'm just hoping that people at least have paid enough attention to.
There's no one senator that has their name attached to it. It just says the Senate. So,
I think my biggest fear about this whole thing is that Trump, who, as we all know, it doesn't matter what side of the fence you're on. You could be a pro-Trump guy or an anti-Trump guy. We all agree that he is a narcissist. And when you look at the fact that he lost a ton of money back when Atlantic City crashed, when that gambling, the whole market crashed in terms of gambling in his casinos in Atlantic City back in the 2000s, if he's sitting there looking at all that money that he lost, and that's how I think he might have actually gone bankrupt back then. If he's going to turn around and punish the industry based off of that, just as sort of a narcissistic backlash, I mean, to me, that's kind of where I think his mindset might be. And that's a disaster for Trump. I think he's making a huge mistake. And that's disgusting. I'm not telling you that I believe that Trump was the author of that section of the bill, but if he goes along with it, man, I think we need to hold him accountable because, like I said, there's single moms out there who are professional sports bettors, and that's how they make their money. And if he's going to start punishing professional sports bettors, that looks really bad on Trump. I have to admit that.
One thing about Trump, too, is he's very vindictive kind of a person where he will hold a grudge forever if you allow him to. Even as you're referring to, I mean, it's one of those things in his mindset is he's always got to get even at some point. And if he feels like he was ever done wrong in the past, then he sees an opportunity to take someone down, he'll do it. But, that Trump Tower, I was joking earlier off the show, but I was like, man, that thing's going to go away in Vegas. If that's the case, if you destroy Vegas and what's built Vegas, I mean, everything out there is just going to be different. It's not going to be the same.
We hear the Vegas stories all the time, right? I mean, we've heard it all year long, even when we went, hey, it's, Vegas isn't the same. Vegas isn't the same. Like if this passes, think about just 5 years from now what Vegas could be, and it's
Right.
and how much of a downfall it might be in the end.
I think it's sad because I feel like we're the only one talking about this right now. Like everybody talking about this big, beautiful bill. They're only talking about the large pieces of this thing. Whereas the sports buffoons, we're the only guys talking about the gambling side and the people who are getting
Captain Jack of
over.
Unabated has really expressed it. There's a lot of betting podcasters and stuff talking about it.
We need more people.
We need national media. I mean,
national media won't touch it.
Well,
they won't touch it.
And you guys know, I literally do not watch ESPN unless it's a game that's on. But I don't know what they're talking about on a daily basis. But I'm going to assume the national media has not hit on this stuff, which is a very important topic.
Absolutely not. Absolutely.
I know Jason watches ESPN. Let's see here.
No, they haven't touched it.
Yeah, and I don't think they will either, which is unfortunate. Because
not even on the front page. Not even on the front page.
This is huge in a lot of different ways for the gambling communities out there and people out there that enjoy, using their financial resources if they choose to for entertainment purposes. It just makes it end up being a total waste of time for everybody to not even want to go anymore. It's going to shut down many businesses if this goes through.
It does say the Washington Post has talked about it. But Action Network, VSIN, I mean, they're all betting related sites. So they're already talking about it. Yes. Cause it affects them. Right. But I mean, right now, the biggest one I see is Washington Post. So, but yeah, I don't think we hear from it until ever. From like an ESPN,
find your favorite offshore betting site, Tanner. Let's start digging around, I guess.
Like I said to you guys earlier,
in case I need it.
Like I said to you earlier, I don't necessarily believe that this was Trump's idea, but if it passes, he's got blood on his hands, man.
He's got blood on his hands.
He's got blood on his hands.
Same with Vance. Dude, Vance could have rejected this already. Instead, he's the one who walks down like Triple H and just passes it.
Vance is also the VP. You're not going to deny your president's bill that he wanted to have passed. At that point, of course, he's going to vote yes. I mean, what are you supposed to do?
That's fine, but I mean, like if you're Trump, like you can't just say, "Oh, I didn't know that was in the bill." Like it's just tiny little thing I didn't know was in the bill. Of course you knew it was in the bill. Like that. Like I'm ready to hold Trump responsible for this turd bill. If that provision passes, like it's a giant turd bill, but everybody's going to think it's great because they're going to get their taxes cut, which is fine. Like everybody wants their taxes to be cut, but we're going to screw other people over in the meantime. Like I'm not going to let it go, man. Like I've spent too much time. I'm a very passionate person when it comes to this space in terms of sports betting or any type of professional gambling or what have you. Like all three of us, dude, we're passionate about this stuff. So I'm not going to let it go.
Well, we do have one commenter, Tanner. I don't know if you can show that on the screen. He's asking a question. Oh, we got Flint Eastwood. Says, what do you think Kamala would have done?
Whew. Yeah, that would have been.
This wouldn't have been brought up. This wouldn't have been brought up.
I agree with Tanner there. I don't think it would have actually ever been put into effect to begin with, or even.
It's not about money. Yeah. It's not about money with Kamala.
I actually know the answer to that, and what would have happened in that scenario is your income taxes would have gone up rather than down, and the gambling thing never would have been touched, but your bank account, they would have gone through with the I think it was like a $600 threshold. If you ever tried to make more than a $600 deposit into your bank account, that goes straight to the Fed. They know exactly what you're doing with your money. And so it would have been worse under Kamala because your taxes would have gone up. They wouldn't have given a shit about gambling, but they would have monitored your bank account, and you would have had CBDCs, which is like, my gosh, that would be like that would be the gambling tax on steroids if you had CBDCs.
Now, Jason, but you're telling me during college football season, I don't have to worry about getting taxed 10%.
Correct.
Sign me up.
Yeah, no, it's a different world, man. Like the CBDCs are a complete disaster. So it's
You would
very
have been
difficult. You
getting
can't
butt
compare.
effed in different ways.
Yeah, you can't even the commenter that put that on the screen. You can't compare those two things because it's kind of like if I could compare the two, it's between being really really angry or just bending over immediately, just getting on all fours and bending over and taking whatever you have to take from them.
Like
I
you're
will
screwed
take,
over other ways, but this wouldn't have been a thing at all.
yeah,
So that's
I'll
all I'm
take
saying.
I will take the current scenario any day, but I'm still going to hold Trump accountable because that's a BS provision in the bill.
Yeah, I agree with that, man.
The House has till
For sure.
the 4th is a deadline to pass it.
The
So
4th. So we're gonna know on Friday when we're shooting.
We'll
off
know.
Fireworks.
Yeah, we'll know.
Well, what's gonna happen?
I mean,
is
I'm still shooting off fireworks. So
what I'm saying is, let's say this is passed. Well, we have the rest of this year before this goes into effect, right?
Yeah,
People are going to be going ape shit with their gambling this year.
College football.
I mean, it's going to be more than ever for
NFL.
a while because everyone's going to shut it down after this year.
What? Well, I know, but then you're going to hit March Madness, and everybody's going to get taxed,
dude. I just hope that people will get involved. That they're going to. All you got to do is call your congressmen and women, call your senators, whatever you got to do. Like this provision in the bill is a complete disaster. Nobody's going to even want to get on the apps if this thing freaking passes because everybody's going to freak out. And so I totally encourage you, like, if you're out there and you're hearing this right now, just call your congressmen and women, call your senators and just say, dude, get this out of the bill. It's a complete disaster. You know, it's going to crash. I don't think it would crash the casinos necessarily, but it will definitely crash sports gambling. Nobody's going to get on those apps. Like those apps are going to crash. Like DraftKings. I know a lot of people are out there. There's a lot of people that actually invest in DraftKings, but they're not actually sports bettors. They just like to invest their money in the company, and that company's going to crash if this thing.
The stock price will plummet if that's the case.
So any of you guys who are investors in DraftKings, you should probably get on the horn right now and just call your congressmen and women and say, hey, this is a disaster. You need to put a stop to this.
Yeah.
They already have.
Nevada's already made a statement.
They've already made statements.
And Nevada should be worried, honestly. They should be very worried.
I agree.
There's no way it's going to pass. It's going to go back and forth, Senate to House, House to Senate. There's no way. Like, that's the stupidest provision I've ever seen in my life.
I know, but it's stupid, but it's also scary that it could potentially happen. That's all. But all right, guys, do you guys have about 5 minutes for some quick Royals talk?
Of course.
Because last time we were chatting with everybody here, like I said, it's been over a month now since we did a show. The Royals were still, kind of in contention and playing some halfway decent baseball. We went through the month of June, which was just horrible. I think they only had I swear it was 8 or 9 wins throughout the whole month. And at home, they can't win a damn game. It's pathetic. And at this point, they are playing here. I guess they just started a game against Seattle here a few minutes ago. But the future of this team this year, anyway, to me is looking pretty bleak. I'm at a point now where what's the point in trying to continue on this season to get to the playoffs? I'd actually rather get into sell mode sooner rather than later with some of these pitchers we have on this roster. And, it's going to suck to see guys like maybe Lugo go away. You got Estevez, the closer, who's been pretty decent. Leads, honestly, I think he's in the top 3 of saves, surprisingly enough.
And Urseg could possibly be on the chopping block, I heard.
Maybe Urseg. But the bats are just not getting it done for this team. And we're at a point where you kind of might as well just start stockpiling some more prospects and move on from some guys because this roster is not getting it done. So, now that we have Jack Caglione is up, we have not spoke on this platform since Jack has been a Royal. And it has not been easy going for him to begin his career, without a doubt. I think he's batting 156 last time I checked. And so I'm just curious, guys, what's your current state of the Royals?
Yeah, I think for me, it's sad that Jack had to come up in this environment. And I know a lot of people are out there saying, well, just send it back down. I think for me personally, that's the worst thing you can do, because Jack has nothing to prove in single A, triple A, what have you. That's not going to improve his career. And so I think Jack needs to stay up. We do not need to send him back down. I think he's hitting the ball hard. And I think he's going to be an amazing player. But I think of Jack completely separately than I do the Royals, which is to say that the Royals, we need to look at this team in terms of the long term. And this team this year right now is a disaster. They need to sell. A lot of people, I understand it, they disagree with me, including my own dad, rest in peace. I would argue with him on this thing over and over again. I want to sell, and I want to build up for the future. That's my philosophy. They're not going anywhere this year. I think the whole world understands that. So if you know you're not going to win anything this year, why would you not sell the pieces that you have to get better, to give yourself a chance to win championships in the future years? And so I think the hitting this year is a disaster. I think the pitching was freaking amazing until Cole Reagans got injured. And I think if you just put 2 and 2 together, I think it's time to sell. And, the people that disagree with me, that's fine. Like, I just chime in here, make a comment, tell me why I'm wrong. That's fine. But I'm just like, I want to win. And the only way that we're going to win as Royals fans is if we get all of the assets that we can right now, which is to basically, like Mike and I would say in the crypto world, we need to do a pump and dump. So if you have any assets right now that are worth anything, let's get rid of them. Let's make a trade. If the price is right, let's get what we can for Vinny. Like if we think we're going to get the appropriate price for Vinny or Seth Lugo, let's do it, man, because I'm ready to win a championship. And it's not going to happen right now, but it might happen 2 to 3 years from now. So let's do what we can now to make that happen.
Yeah, what you think, Tanner?
I'm kind of in the same boat here. Look, it's been a rough couple months. Okay, it's been a rough for this team. Pitching has been really great. Offense very inconsistent. We have our games. We don't have our games. We compete against the good teams like the Dodgers out of nowhere, but then you get swept. What do you do? You sweep the Rangers, and then you lose the series. That next series, then you compete against the Dodgers. I don't get it. But essentially, I'm kind of with Jason. Let's go out. Let's free up some cap. Let's get some prospects here, and because we got a lot of young guys out there as well that we want to bring up and get some of that experience too. So if your name is not Bobby Witt Jr. or Jack Caglione, you are up for sale, essentially. I am picking up the phone and I am listening to any of those offers except for those 2 players right now, and maybe a couple of the prospects down in the minors. But, I mean, outside of that, like, I want to listen. I'm going to listen. So, and we know some of these teams could use a Seth Lugo, a Perez, in this matter. And, I hate to see Perez go, of course, as a fan that's been with him forever. And, it would break my heart, but I get it. It's a business, guys. It's a business and it sucks. So, yeah, it's been a tough one here. So, to go with it.
We do have another commenter asking about, would you make any organizational changes? Who's getting fired? And I mean, for me, the first thing you have to look at is potentially the hitting coach situation. I know, Tanner, you have a brother that wouldn't want to hear that, But I just think in this situation, you look at this roster compared to last year, everyone right now is playing worse than the year before besides Michael Garcia. Worse or the same. Isbell's about the same. Garcia's playing great this year. He's changed a lot of things. He's changed his whole attitude, actually. I don't know if you guys have picked up on the confidence aspect of Garcia from day one this year. It's way different than it was all of last year.
I did get to hear an interview of Garcia on the way back from Wichita last Wednesday, and I liked what I heard. It's a lot of it wasn't a lot of me ball. It was a lot of team ball, and I mean I think his attitude's changed to that team ball, and it shows because he's willing to do a lot more within the team. So I'm a big fan of his right now.
No, he's done great, and he's still very, very young as well. Let's keep that in mind. He's one of those guys that I would love to still hold on to when it comes time to make some trades and sell off. I'm more interested in selling off some of these older pitchers to a team that needs to win now. Like guys like Lugo make a lot of sense to get rid of.
Lorenzen.
Sure, Lorenzen's fine to go. If you can get anything for him, his ERA is like just under 5.
True.
Probably not.
It's been a little rough.
Get a lot of that. But maybe a Chris Bubich even, something like that is a possibility. I think Carlos Estevez is a guy that I would be okay with getting rid of if you can sell high. His numbers right now show that he could make someone else a good team in the bullpen. But yeah, just for me offensively, the hitting coach would be the issue I'd have to look at, because how does everyone on your roster offensively get worse, not progress? How come Jack Heglione is not so far getting better after being up here for almost a month now in the big leagues? And even Bobby Witt has slightly regressed offensively this year. There's something going on there. Something's not right. And I think he'd have to be the guy I'd start with as far as making a change organizationally.
I think we look in that direction too. And then maybe even your game scouts, right? Not your players, not the guys who are looking at bringing up players, the game scouts, the guys who are looking far ahead to develop a game plan.
Who's telling these guys
obviously it's not well
to come to the plate so aggressively? Why are we not? One of my favorite Royals, who was only here a short period of time, was Ben Zobrist. And I loved Ben Zobrist because he had the perfect mentality at the plate, the most patient hitter I feel like I had seen at that point in my life.
That could also be a Quintaro move too. So it could come from many directions.
Like when Salvador Perez swings at dog shit, I'm used to it. He's been doing that his whole life.
That's a normal day.
But I'm seeing Bobby Witt swing at dog shit. I mean, everyone's swinging at absolute crap balls thrown out there. And luckily Garcia's.
But that's where the game scouts come into play too. That means what they're bringing to the table isn't correct, and then what's being translated from there isn't being correct, and that can come from a whole bunch of different areas, not just your hitting coach, but hitting coach is the ultimate guy. Really,
what's also making the Royals the worst situational hitting team in the league as well? Then, because we talk about Vinny Pasquantino, who's having an okay season, and he came off that injury last year. It took him a while to get going this year. He's doing great, in my opinion, for most of his at bats, but when it's runners in scoring position, he's actually one of the worst in the entire league in that situation.
That's 3 different guys, and that involves the manager.
Yeah,
the manager and the end guys.
When your number 3 or number 4 hitter is one of the worst in the league at running from scoring position, of course you're going to lose games. You're not going to put up runs. You need that guy in the middle of your lineup to make an impact, and he's not doing it when it comes time. What's funny, he still leads, I think, the team in RBIs, just based off of how things unfold. I mean, he's going to have more situations with, let's say, Bobby Witt on base or Michael Garcia on base, But then when Vinny comes up in a situation where they're on base, he can't get it done. It's very, very strange, and I don't want to see Vinny go anywhere. But there's got to be something to that situational ball playing that's just not working for this team.
Don't forget execution from the players' side.
Sure,
they're not being left out on the blame. So.
Yeah, you guys know me, man. I like to hold people accountable, and I think we live in a society today where nobody wants to see anybody get fired, and that's pretty sad, man. Because I'm a firm believer in holding people accountable. We had a topic a little bit earlier in the show where we talked about the president of the United States and how we want to hold him accountable. Well, I think you can't just go along to get along and say, well, maybe the hitting will turn around next year. Yeah, maybe that's true. Maybe it's not. So I would say fire the hitting coach. And you guys know, like I'm trigger happy. I want to fire everybody, and that's
how we
fine.
know you're a true NBA fan, dude.
Somebody,
Because you're trigger happy, like the New York
that's
Knicks.
true. That's true.
You're ready to can him.
I think the Tom Thibodeau thing on the Knicks was freaking retarded. That was stupid as hell.
Hey, you won me a championship last year.
I'm not that trigger happy, but I do believe in holding people accountable. And so I think that, you got to let somebody go. You have to make an example of somebody to let the public know, to let the Royals fans know that we're not going to accept this shit, because nobody in the right mind believes that this lineup is that bad. I don't believe those players are that bad. And it's just like, you have to hold somebody accountable. Like, it's just like Jack Caglione, Bobby Witt, Jonathan India.
I mean, Hunter Renfroe was on this team for part of the year, and that guy was batting 100. I mean, how do you get that bad?
And then I hear people like try to blame Drew Waters and all this shit. Well, Drew Waters has had great moments this year. You know, like at
Drew Waters
some point,
Triple A to begin the season. I mean, you can't expect Drew Waters to be your savior.
At some point you got to hold people accountable. And like, you guys know me well enough to know, if you've been watching this show, like, I would love to fire everybody. I'm not going to fire Matt Quatrero right now. Okay. I'm going to give him another chance, but that hitting coach has got to go, because this offense sucks. Like, I'm not trying to oversimplify this shit, but like, there's no results here. Like, this team sucks. So somebody's got to move, and the hitting coach needs to go, because we're not seeing too many results here on the offense.
Before we get out of here, guys, what is your favorite firing of all time? One that made you the most excited? I got one right now, but I want to hear what you guys have.
It's not very hard. Is it hard?
I mean, for me, it's easy, but I don't know.
2012?
I mean, yeah, you know where I'm going with
Just
this.
be real. Let's be real. Like, if we had to pick anything, it's 2012.
Oh, well, I guess it was technically 2013.
Yeah, but, 2012 to 2013.
But Mr.
Ask me the question. What was the question again?
Your favorite firing of all time. I think Tanner and I are agreeing it was Mr. Scott Pioli. Andy Reid firing his ass whenever he came on board. Andy Reid was hired in 2013, hung out with him for like 2 days, and then fired his ass. And that was my favorite firing of all time. I was literally jumping for joy the day Scott Pioli was fired. I was so excited. Oh, Flint Eastwood.
Oh, yeah.
Bob Sutton. Hey, that was a good one. Yeah. Bob Sutton was horrible. I mean, he was the whole time he was here. He was horrible. So yeah, that was another good one. But yeah, for me, it's Scott Pioli. So Jason.
Really any of the KU coaches over the years outside of Mark Mangino. So, and now Leopold. So, Miles Gillis, etc. The former Patriots OC.
Mike, or which one are you talking about?
The KU coach, the former Patriots.
Oh, OC. Mangini? No, not Mangini.
No.
Charlie Weiss.
Charlie Weiss, yeah. Yeah, Charlie Weiss was one of my favorite fires.
But he was only there to steal some money is all he was doing.
He legit was, and that's
Weiss was
that was one of my favorites. But no, obviously Pioli being our favorite, like that's my favorite of all. So
well, because Pioli like single-handedly destroyed our organization. Like he took the Chiefs and literally ran them into the ground, and so it was like this Andy Reid was our savior, and he truly was. But whenever he fired Pioli, we felt like this breath of fresh air of finally this demon had been lifted off of our shoulders.
Shit, dude.
Well, guys, you guys shouldn't have to answer me. You shouldn't have to ask me this question. And if you think really hard about it, you're going to know what I'm going to say before I say it. But my favorite firing of all time, I guess technically wasn't a firing, but it was a National Basketball Association owner by the name of Donald Sterling in 2014, owner of the Clippers. Yeah. Who was, I don't think they actually fired him, but he was politely removed from being an owner in the NBA. And the reason why he was removed as being an NBA owner is because he was a dirty, rotten racist. So they taught him a good lesson.
I remember that story.
They said, it's not okay to be a racist piece of crap, and they removed his ass as being an NBA owner. So
he was a savage.
That's my that'd be my favorite firing of all time, because he was a dirty, rotten old man, and you guys all freaking know it.
I kind of forgot about that story, but I wasn't a big NBA fan at that time. So
that was a decade ago, man.
I wasn't an NBA fan.
Yeah, dude. He wasn't a Suns guy yet.
You guys know, like, we've had a lot of stories over the years about people who are, well, let's see, maybe they're racist, maybe they're not. With Donald Sterling, it was confirmed. Like, there was no question about it. The whole world knew he was a dirty ass racist. And
it wasn't like John Gruden where he's like fake racist.
Yeah. No,
he got fired because of some bullshit. But you can ask every black man he ever coached, and there's nothing racist about John Gruden as a person. So
yeah, like with Donald Sterling, like, it's not like he was trying to hide it. Like, he wasn't trying to hide it. Like, he would just openly say it, and everybody freaking knew it. So
that
was my favorite.
He thought the players were slaves.
Firing of all time. Get him fired.
He said the players were slaves, basically, to the organization.
Pretty much. Oh yeah, yeah. He probably believed it too. He believed that stuff. Yeah. But the dude was probably like 90 years old. I don't know how old he was, but yeah, they removed his ass, dude, and he deserved it. So that was my favorite firing of all time.
All right, that's a good one. I'll give you that.
What? Hey, Mike, you're a wrestling guy. What was your favorite GM between Raw and SmackDown firing in your years?
GMs along the way, they had a lot of them between both.
They did.
I was never a big SmackDown. I watched all SmackDown. SmackDown was always more boring than Raw. I would say Eric Bischoff, because he was such a good heel. That maybe when Eric Bischoff eventually got fired by Vince, that was probably my number one, I guess.
Yeah.
I have to think back though, because I haven't paid attention.
There was a lot. There was a lot.
Past, 10, 15 years as much, but I would say maybe Bischoff. By the way, Bischoff now, I saw a video of him. The guy,
oh my gosh.
He lives in great shape now, yeah. I mean, he's in great shape right now, but he's actually pretty good. If you got to pull up his YouTube channel, he's got a lot of interviews and talks, and he's actually seems like a pretty normal guy for the most part. So
I asked ChatGPT the best Raw general manager firing of all time, and Eric Bischoff's number one with the dumped in the garbage truck.
Yep.
December 5th, 2005.
Yep, that sounds about right. That'd have been my number one, I think.
You remember who sent him into it?
It was after Stone Cold, so it wouldn't have been him. Man, maybe Undertaker. I don't know.
No. This guy's currently being a menace on WWE.
Currently being a menace. Maybe it could have been Goldberg. I don't know, because this WCW title.
John Cena gave the FU. Yeah, he gave the FU to Bischoff in the garbage.
Oh, I don't think Cena's being a menace. I think Cena's right where he needs to be with his character.
I think he's coming along. Cena. But yeah, we won't go into it. But yeah.
I have to think back. Yeah. I've forgotten about all the GMs from back in the day with Raw and SmackDown.
There's a lot, man. There's Kurt Angle, Vicky Guerrero, Mick Foley.
Yeah, I've forgotten more than I can remember on who was GM for a certain amount of time. You know, my favorite GM was probably Mick Foley. It's probably my favorite GM for.
It's funny. So I pulled up the list here of like who got fired and when, and like half of them were fired by Stephanie each time, in some way, shape, or form. Fired by Stephanie,
coming out doing her dad's dirty work. Yeah. Well, do you guys have any final comments before we get out of here for the week?
I just want to say, for those out there that don't enjoy football, don't enjoy football. Get ready to suffer, because the final month of no football happened already. July, we have the first football game happening this month.
Kansas State.
It is when
they have the first game, week 0. Kansas State.
Yeah, when?
Oh, it's the last whatever weekend
That's
of July.
August, right?
Or sorry. Yeah, August. Maybe is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
just know they're
no.
the
We have
first game
the
of the
Hall of
season.
Fame game, July 30th.
Yeah, we got that.
Or July 31st, one of the two. But
You said college football. That's where my mind first went.
that's fine. Yeah, week 0 is August 23rd, dude. So I was like, we're still a ways
Well, what
away,
college
though.
football are you talking about then?
I'm talking about NFL.
You
Hall of
said
Fame
college
game.
football.
I said football. I just said football. I
Okay.
said college football
We gotta
earlier in the
gotta review
betting
the tape.
aspect.
We got to review the
God
tape.
dang, man.
I've got
no.
hey
There's
man,
football on this month, guys.
There is.
I've got a wrestling comment for you guys because you guys know how much I know about wrestling. I'm actually somewhat of an expert here in terms of
Yes, you
wrestling.
are.
So, have you guys ever heard of a wrestler named Bad News Brown?
Yeah.
Because the first time I saw him on a video, it looked like someone took a big ass shit and named it Bad News Brown.
Yep. It sounds about right. What about Dusty Rhodes?
Yeah, I remember Dusty Rhodes too, man. He was
That fat rapper named Dusty Rhodes.
Yep. Yeah, he was man. I tell you what.
His son is actually not too bad. He's an okay wrestler.
Yeah. Both of them, actually.
Man, he was a piece of shit.
Yep, there you go. Oh God, I forgot what I was gonna say. Got off topic a little bit there.
Yeah, don't ever talk to me about wrestling on the show because I don't want to overwhelm you guys with my knowledge about professional wrestling.
By the way, guys, so training camp schedule came out before we get out of here. Did we pick out for sure what day we're gonna go to Chiefs camp this year?
I don't think so. I think I was trying to aim for a Friday into Saturday, but I think you guys wanted a Saturday. But we never heard from Jason though on it.
I said August 2nd, but if you have something else in mind, we can make it work probably.
I'm gonna go with the month of August, man. Sign me up.
Okay, Jason, could you do August 2nd?
Saturday. I don't care. I don't care what the day is. Just throw it through. Give me a day.
For some reason, Tanner wants us to have to take a day off of work for some reason.
Oh, I like that idea. Yeah, I'll do that, dude. Because
I'm always willing to take a day off.
He's a devious guy, man. He wants to call in sick and just show up to Chiefs camp. I know how that guy's brain
Watch
works.
out, guys. I call in sick all the time.
Yeah, he wants me to waste vacation days. I get it. But you know what? Friday'd be great because we could go do our normal day and still have the full weekend afterwards.
Everything will be open.
Yeah, everything's gonna be open. So sometimes we go out there on like a Wednesday or Thursday and
Wednesday.
Yeah. So we go out on a Friday, then
and that means even if it does like rain or something weird happens because of the way the weather is today, it's just odd at this point. Like at least we know we can go to the casino for a few hours and then we can make our trip down.
August 1st is what we're gonna try to do.
Let's do August 1st or 2nd. We're gonna go on that weekend, and then after Chiefs camp is over, we're just gonna spend the night in Council Bluffs and play cards at the casino.
Well, we're halfway there. Might as well.
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh, you guys want to go north instead of back south?
Yeah, we're just gonna go up to Iowa, Tanner.
Yeah, you just spend the night up there because it's a very private neighborhood.
He wanted to go on Friday, so now we have a good reason to go on Friday.
Nobody plays up there, man.
I'll get us free room. It's okay.
You get free.
I didn't even think about this butt fucking me.
Yeah, exactly. Now we're gonna play boxer out too.
Tanner, you get a private suite for free, man. You don't even have to pay for that stuff.
Ah, Jesus.
Like who doesn't want to get into a private suite?
Only
I'll go. You'll be gone that weekend.
I'll go if Starsky goes.
Oh, good luck with that. Good luck with that, buddy.
All right, guys. Well, I think it's time for us to get out of here for the day. So I guess we'll be like this for a while, obviously. So I'm hoping at some point we can find a way to get down to the new studio to check that out. But otherwise, we'll be doing it this way for a little while. That's kind of why I put up some stuff around here, make it look a little more.
Looks good, man.
Yeah, it looks all right, but I got some more to add to it. I just threw this together real quick.
How about the champs? Let's talk about the champs.
All right. Well, guys out there, I appreciate everyone tuning in and checking us out again. Hopefully, we have an update on the sports gambling situation because I'm really looking forward to seeing how that turns out, or maybe not. I don't know. But yep, I will see you all on the next one.
Outro.
See you guys.